Hey, what's happening, gamers? The Wiimote just died. So, um, no, give me a sec. Alright, there we go. Yes, we are using the Wii for Gamecube. Because it's HDMI. There's no HDMI on the GameCube. Also, the quality looks nice.
I'll be here for a little bit, but then I have to go and get some stuff done.
Hi guys and gals, how's it going? I was watching my Korean drama. The secondary couple got together after playing Tekken in the arcade, but they were getting a little bit too rough with each other. They're both very competitive, and I was just thinking, if I was on the first date with a girl and I took her to an arcade, I would not jump off the ground displaying my fighting game prowess. I would play a game with her, like shooting zombies, or maybe race car, or like some type of game that you can, you know, play together. Like a beat 'em up, or Gauntlet was a very popular game that was in the arcade when Amber and I were dating. Gauntlet Dark Legacy. Like, fighting against each other, it could have serious ramifications for your first date, because, you know, she might not like you being too aggressive, or maybe you won't like if she's too aggressive. You build up to that. You build up to fight games.
Well, what would you know? As if you ever took a girl to an arcade and then ended up being married.
I did. We ended up playing games together. I don't remember us playing fighting games together, like against each other on a first date. We gradually got into that, because I was a big fighting game person. I played games that we could play together. I really enjoyed, we played while we waited for a movie. It was, I believe, Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I believe so.
What's this stuff, huh?
The guy was an idiot for, yeah, it was a divorce insurance. So the secondary couple, she gets a perfect on him the first time they play, and then he takes off his jacket, and he picks the character that he's really good at, and he destroys her, and then...
That's terrible! No!
Right, and that's not the worst of it. Then he gets up and he starts doing a victory dance.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then she took off her jacket, and because she's very competitive, she's like, okay, it's on. And then she picked a character, and they're beating each other up, like, back and forth, like, win, win, win. And they're playing the whole, like, Korean music that they always play with it. And they're both, like, getting each other's face, like, ha ha ha, and I'm just like, this is not reality.
Yeah, in reality, she'd be like, take me home!
Yeah,
I am not having fun anymore.
It would be one more, like, there was there's an anime where there's a couple who goes and they play fighting games. But both of them are very quiet, reserved, and kind of like, one more match, you know? And they're both getting into it that way, but these people are literally getting each other's face and they're showboating. Like, you know, showboating in, like, the end zone of the football field, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. Loki, what should I do? What do you want me to do?
You said we're gonna keep an eye on that thing on my back. Yeah, there we go. I don't know what to do either. So today, guys and gals, is the final episode of Mario Power Tennis. We're saying adios to this game, and we're going to replace it with a brand new game tomorrow, which is, I believe, speaking of couples playing fighting games, we're going to be playing Capcom vs. SNK 2 tomorrow, which is the collection. And then I guess we'll replace that with Fantasy Life 2 next week. And then that's it until Switch 2 comes out, I believe. I don't think there's anything else we can cover on the channel like that. I'm not sure. And then sometime next week will be the finale of Xenoblade. Xenoblade will be wrapping up sometime next week. Because I'm almost at the point where I'm pretty sure I can smoke that floor. I'm now a level 58. So
Smoke that pool.
I'm almost at level 60. It's taken a while, though, because by the time I'm done streaming, I get so tired that I fall asleep grinding. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, I mean, that Monster Hunter stream was 5 hours. I mean, they don't know it's 5 hours because I cut out like 3 hours. Or no, yeah, I cut out at least 4.5 hours of it. Or 2.5 hours of it. Which would bring it down to like 3 hours and 3 minutes or something. Still was a very long stream.
No, that is a lot.
Yep, so tonight's dinner was stuffing, corn, and cheese sauce.
I'm sorry, I could have eaten real food.
That was real food. I'm real stuffed. I'm living up to the whole stuffing thing.
I don't know, Loki. I don't know. I could have done better.
Wait, it's a remake? It's not a continuation of it? Are you sure? It's the same game from the 3DS?
I thought it was
Fantasy
Life 2.
I thought it was Fantasy Life 2, yeah. Well, that's a bummer. I don't know if I want to do.
I wouldn't forget it.
I don't know. I mean, I still have the original art that we did. But I was assuming it was for Fantasy Life 2. So we have stars on every character except for 2. And those characters are Koopa Troopa with wings and... Oh, Amber did Wiggler. Yep. So we have Petey Piranha. So we'll start with Petey Piranha and we'll work our way up to the turtle. And that'll be it. And if we decide to do 2-player, we do 2-player.
Well, I don't know.
Alright, let's get our tennis on.
Think if Wookie, if you took me to an arcade and you beat the tar out of me in front of tons of people, I think I would just get on the floor and cry.
It's the first date. Like, you know, I mean, if anything, okay, let me put this in perspective. Let's say you got a perfect on me on the first time we sat down to play together. I would not. I probably would use my 4th best character. And I would fight you again and I'd beat you, but I would not showboat. And then as you got better, then I would play you with my best character. He literally went from playing as his worst character to his very best character.
Yeah, it's like psychological warfare.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up. And the thing is, I was looking at the arcade where they were, and they had, like, a couple, like, light gun games where they could fight zombies. They had, it looked like a beat-em-up game, and they had some other stuff. I don't think it's a good idea, like, as a gamer and as a romance advocate, that you should, you know, pummel your first date. First date, mind you. Maybe 5th or 6th date if you really want to be single. I mean, you know,
yeah.
if you're trying to make sure she's not the one, do what that guy did in the Korean drama.
Trying to make her leave.
If you're trying to like, you know, ruin your date, and you know...
Especially if you don't even know if she's a hardcore video game person.
Well, it actually turns out she was a hardcore gamer.
Well, I'm sorry that I'm not as cool as a person in a Korean
No,
drama.
I had a lot of fun playing... We play all kinds of games. You've improved dramatically, like, with certain stuff. You can play fighting games now, for the most part.
For the most part. Yeah, finish your thought.
But I still say that it is important to play games together. Like, not play games against each other.
Yeah, not so much competitive on your first date.
Yeah, because, like, working together as a team and stuff, it's good for couples to do. You know, because it's like you kind of see, and if he's the experienced gamer that he is, then, you know, playing House of the Dead or some type of light gun game together, obviously he's going to have more experience and he can help her out, and girls always like it when the guys are able to help with stuff. They feel kind of like, oh, you know, he helped me out here, that was sweet, or whatever.
Yeah.
So, you know, when they're blasting zombies together, that would have been much better than playing Tekken 8 together, but it was a product placement, obviously, for Tekken 8. So,
oh.
yeah, it was a product placement for Tekken 8, because it's a brand new Korean drama. It's the divorce insurance.
That makes sense.
I'm just saying, realistically, it's not a good idea to smoke the girl on the first date. Like, if you take her to an arcade, because what's going to happen is there's one or two things. Either she's going to be really into it, and, you know, you're going to get married or whatever. Or two, she's going to see you as a total jerk, and you're going to end up being, you know, the date's not going to go well, and there won't be a second date.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just common sense speaking. You know?
Luke should write a dating book for gamers.
Miss Deanna said I would actually be pretty good at making like a marriage seminar for young men. I believe she said that yesterday.
I think you would because I think you're a lot nicer than
the internet makes me out to be.
You're a lot nicer than most people that I've met. You're very gentle and sweet. Very good. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I feel embarrassed.
Okay. Remember, guys and gals, to watch the shorts. PD Piranha is a power character, so we're just powering right through these characters. Show no mercy.
Well, I think your way of doing it would be nicer than the way they did it on the show. It was like, if that guy did that to me, like what the person did on the show, I would have cried, and I would have wanted to go home, I wouldn't have had money for a cab, and I would have had the most horrible day in the world, having some guy, like, mercilessly, like, basically, like, shame me in front of the entire arcade. I would have been so angry and upset.
Do you remember the game we played together? Because I do.
What? We played
Gauntlet.
together?
We played Gauntlet, and we played a racing game.
I liked playing Gauntlet with you because we were in a team.
Your wizard needs food badly.
That's why I liked Skylanders so much, because it was like Gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like good memories.
I wish I could find that. That would be fun to play. Gauntlet was a really fun game.
I like that game.
Wait, was it? Your warrior is a level 10 legend, or something like that. And they would announce like whenever you hit like a pivotal level. It was cool. And you work together to fight like hordes of enemies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It had cool music. I want to find that game now. If I don't have an ultimate, I want to play that tonight. But I don't want to play it by myself.
I think well, maybe if I take a nap, I can play it with you later.
I don't even know what it is. I'm just speaking theoretically.
You don't even know what game is it?
Gauntlet Dark Legacy on Gamecube. I don't know.
And you think it would be around?
I saw it a couple years ago.
Well, where would it have been?
In a box.
Well, what box was it in?
The GameCube box. I actually have the box art.
Where are the GameCube boxes?
They're already down here. It's not there. Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's why you named yourself something similar to that. On an old website, you named yourself something similar to that name.
What name?
You just said something with Gauntlet about legends.
Oh.
You had a screen name that was similar to that.
Probably.
Yeah, you did. I'm not gonna say it out loud because it could be an email.
Yeah, I probably did do something.
No, I know that you did.
Alright, so I'm setting up the mystery stream because I don't even know what it's
Yeah, but I'm different than that person in the Korean dramedy because I didn't really play games as much as you.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to get super competitive, they could always play like World of Warcraft.
But it probably, on a first date, it probably would be a better idea to not try to beat the tar out of her because what if she didn't like gaming? What if she wasn't a huge gamer and was just going there like...
Yeah, because then she's going to see
just going there casually?
That wasn't very nice. You'd be like, wait a second, this is a completely different version of you that I've gotten used to even start dating you, and you act like this. Guys feel like they can let their guard down and be like, haha, I can show her that I'm a total jerk. Or I'm awesome at games or something. It's like, you don't want to let your guard down too much. When you become engaged, then you can go full on. This is me. This is who I am. Because at that point, you know, she said yes, so... But you still want to ease her into, you know, if you're kind of a very mean gamer.
As Fraser says. The magic that is me.
The magic that is me, yeah. Because I can tell you, if I was playing an arcade game with Amber and I was jumping up and down and all excited that I beat her she would have asked me to drive her home because she'd be like, this is a completely different version of the guy that I was on the previous date with. So... yoink.
Well, I already feel like this is... I don't know.
What?
I just feel stressed out.
Okay, well, I am a giant planet.
Well, you're playing as PD Piranha. Oh my god.
Oh, I'm destroying everybody. It's not even close.
Isn't he, like, really hard to move as?
Yeah, but he's a power character, so he hits the ball really hard.
Oh, wow.
They hit it to me, and then it's gone. Okay.
Oh, yeah, he was on my team, so he's from Mario Sunshine.
Was that his first appearance? Mario Sunshine? Awful. I don't even know what I'm streaming. It's a mystery screen. I can do the dishes on my break.
There's many loads of them, and after I'm done doing the dishes, I can do other things.
Well, I'm gonna take care of the dishes. So.
Well, then what will I have done? I spent
You
the
just
whole day
you just said I have other things to do besides the dishes.
I
Then
don't
you
have
would.
much other to do. The dishes would have get one accomplishment under my belt, so that I can feel confident about it, so that I can get some other stuff done. If you do the dishes, then I'll feel terrible about myself, and I'll just sleep all day and feel fine.
All right, I'll leave the dishes for you then. Is that the right choice then? Okay. I don't think we have any food. But if you sat on the chair, how would you even reach the dishes? See, that's the conundrum right there. Like, how would you reach it? Oh, here we go. Is he gonna eat everybody? I don't get that. Okay. Moving on to Flower Cup with PD Piranha.
What kind of things would you put in your book?
What book?
I thought you were writing a book about
YouTube?
marriage.
I thought that's a speech. I have to write a book? My book would be called How to Convert Her into a Gamer.
That's terrible! I'm not showing up for your seminar.
I don't need to. I can just use you as an example.
I don't want to be used. I'm not going to be used as an example. I am not a gamer, and I don't play any games at all. I have to go do the thing.
Okay, Stevie. That was funny. Oh, whack. He flies now. I was doing a Star Wars Disney quote. No, there actually was a fly in here. I don't know where it went, though. Probably Link got it. Link is really good at catching flies in midair. Ambi, don't exceed a certain amount of tea bags, though. 6. No, otherwise you're gonna get a big tummy ache again. Just like I did. It's not a weird rule. Look it up on Google. Google recommends 6 tea bags if you're gonna make a pot of tea. Like an actual pot. Like pots and pan pot. Whatever. Can you make sure that you don't exceed more than 6? I won't be able to drink it, honey, because it'll give me really bad cramps. Because that's too much. It's too much caffeine stuff. No more than 6. Well, last time you put 10 and I almost buckled under because of like how much pain my stomach was in.
First set, PD Piranha, 2 serve.
They don't put that much in. No, that doesn't help with what you're thinking. The opposite. Reverse. I'm not staring at you. Link is there staring at you though. Link is my liaison. I sent Link in there to spy on you. Link was sent in there to spy on you. Haha. My name is P.T. Piranha. I smacked the ball right there. I hit it again without a care. Whoop! Yeah, man. Goodbye. Hehehehe. Ah, bam. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, it's because I'm so big. Alright. Game on. Meh. There we go. Whoa, boom. Yeah. Set point. Set game. 1. PD Piranha. Hee hee hee. I like his little laugh. 6 or 7 at the most. No, I'm not. It's the recommended amount because it's too much caffeine in your bloodstream. Because tea is more concentrated than the tea they sell in the store. Because they're not expecting people to put tons of tea bags in their tea. Just like... Right, but a big pot of it would only mean you would only need like 6 tea bags at the most. You want me to have a conversation with my video game? Okay. 3015. I'm gonna school you, video game. Get this, fool. How about this? Now try this. And some of that. Oh, I see what you did there. Well, go for that. Win. Winning. Yes. It can give you stomach cramps. It can also give you really bad constipation. TMI, but it's also, it can, if you drink too much tea, like too concentrated, it can hurt your heart too, when it's supposed to help your heart. Like, tea is supposed to be a good herbal remedy, but if you have too much of it in like a concentrated dose, it can be very bad. It hurts your tummy a lot. Because tea has like healing effects and stuff like that. It's been used in ancient China for like thousands of years, but the problem is if you use too much of it, you can seriously wound somebody or cause, you know, problems. Yeah, you were. I drank that tea that you made like was a month or two ago, and I couldn't get out of bed. My stomach felt like it had bricks on it. I was in a lot of pain. Yep, because I mean that's why they say like you only supposed to use a little bit of it because it actually has properties that's good for your body. It's got antioxidants. It's really good. Tea's great. That's why I drink tea. But you're not supposed to like overdo it. Like the right amount is what's needed to be healthy, and then if you go over that, it's no longer healthy. It can be harmful. Yep. We used to make tea at the restaurant I worked at in Illinois. Nope. The chef put in, what was it? 3 lemons and 4 to 5 tea bags. Well, you don't need the lemon anyway. He like, it was plain tea, so he made it lemony. It was really good, though. No, I mean, he had the whole lemon, like, soaking in it. Like the lemon heads or whatever it was called. The lemon slices. And he had it in a big, like, soup pot. I know, that's how you're making it, but you don't want to exceed because if it's too concentrated, it's not good for you. It's like going from healing benefits to poison. No. Wah. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, if I'm laid up for a day, I'm just gonna watch Korean dramas all day. But I don't like that feeling. Dirt, dirt. Well, I mean, as long as it's safe to drink it, I'll drink a lot of it. Or whatever. Wah. I usually end up having a lot of tea, like at home, but I only put 1 tea bag in each one of my stuff. I don't even use 2 bags of tea anymore. I just use 1. Usually. Until it's like, usually after the second, like, refill or something like that, the tea bag is so not useful anymore. So I have to get another tea bag. How do you verse somebody in Arkham City? You mean you take turns? I mean, that's clever. Taking turns in, like, challenge maps is interesting. I didn't think of that. Ouch! PD Piranha Strike. Sorry, Daisy. PD Smash! Ha! Oh, they're gonna give it to her. I'm slow! And go. I wouldn't say that not showboating in front of a girl who's wearing a mask. It's just proper decorum. Like, I don't shy away aspects of my personality when I got married. Amber learned things about me she didn't want to know. That was very different than when we were dating. I wouldn't say wearing a mask. I would more say it's like a time and a place for everything. When you're dating, you're trying to, you know, feel out if the person is going to make a good husband or wife. Usually, it's, you know, the whole prospect of getting married, settling down, having a family, all that fun stuff. You don't want to just be like acting like a clown and then look at her like, what? Can you not handle this? Woo woo! You know, it's like, that's literally this guy in the show was jumping up and down and acting like a 5-year-old. Is like, and then she was doing it too, and it's like, okay, so they're just the secondary couple of the show. Remember, Korean dramas have 3 couples usually. Yeah, they're showing that they're perfect for each other, and who knows what they were gonna do after. I stopped the episode because it was time to stream, so I don't know how the episode ended, but I'm pretty sure, you know, they're realizing that they're both perfect for each other, which is funny because again the show is called Divorce Insurance, and all these couples are getting together in the show, and they're stopping couples from getting divorced. It's like, what's the show about? The name is called this, but no couple's gotten divorced. Okay. I don't know if I've ever done a victory dance in front of Amber when I beat her in a game. I don't think so. That's just not my style. Yeah, Amber says I never did that, so. It would hurt her feelings. Alright, Star Cup. PD Piranha, let's go. No, you're not a sensitive person. Yes, darling. You're welcome. Star Cup. No. No. Oh. Oh, I see how it is. Fetch. Okay. I hit him right in the face. That's funny. Yoink! Oh, I see what you're doing. Get it. Da-da-da-da-da. Well, tomorrow's Terry Day, Amber. Terry Day. No! Terry Bogard. Yep. SNK versus, wait. What was it called again? SNK versus Capcom 2 collection. I thought it was supposed to come out in April originally, though. It got moved to May. We were supposed to cover it last month. Ugh. Uh-uh. Haha! Loser! You thought you were all clever there, Waluigi. You know what PD Piranha sounds like? He sounds like a putty. Wario! Luigi! What is everyone's favorite Christmas movie? My favorite Christmas movie? Of all time? I don't think I can do one of all time. I have a series of Christmas movies that I watch every year, but I don't know if they can be considered like my all-time favorite. I watch them every year. The Christmas movies I watch every year is Jingle All the Way with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Deck the Halls with the Ferris Bueller guy, Home Alone with Macaulay Culkin, the original. I don't like the second one. Even though it's in New York, I don't like the second one. What was the name of that one? Just Friends with Ryan Reynolds. It's really funny. It's an adult comedy though. Santa Claus 1 with Tim Allen. Polar Express. I like Polar Express.
First set, PD Piranha. 2 serve.
I don't really watch A Christmas Story very much. Frosty the Snowman is cute. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the classic, like, what do you call it? Classic, like, clay animation. Muppets Christmas Carol. What other Christmas movies? We like watching Mall Cop, but I don't know if Mall Cop takes place at Christmas time. I don't remember. I think Jingle All the Way is my favorite, though, because Jingle All the Way is a movie that, as a gamer, it holds a lot of fond memories, because, like, when people in the 90s were going out to find games and toys, the movie Jingle All the Way is pretty authentic. Like, and as a adult, when you're trying to get a gift for somebody, you experience what Jingle All the Way is all about. Does that make sense? Like, it's pretty insane, like, doing Christmas shopping. So that's one of our favorite, not just Christmas movies. It's probably one of our favorite movies of all time is Jingle All the Way. With Sinbad and Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's really funny. I'm trying to think what other Christmas movies we watch. We watch a lot of Hallmark movies at Christmas. But I can't tell you the names of them. They're so generic that... was there any other Christmas movies we watch? I wouldn't say it's a movie, but we watch Christmas with the Joker. We watch He-Man's Christmas special every once in a while. And I like watching on my hard drive. I have a list of, like, Christmas anime episodes and 80s cartoon episodes that I watch. Every once in a while. Because when I was a kid, in the 80s and 90s, and even the 2000s, like, well, I wasn't a kid, I was a teenager and adult in the 2000s, but 80s and 90s cartoons had Christmas-themed episodes. Like, you had to do it. It was a requirement. So, like, every 80s sitcom, 90s sitcom, 90s show, 80s show, 80s cartoon, 90s cartoon, they all had Christmas episodes every year. It was always a new Christmas episode. as a show, you had to have at least one Christmas and one Halloween episode if you were going to go into production. Because Christmas episodes always got more ratings. I think Lois and Clark actually has 3 Christmas episodes over the course of their 5 seasons. Because people back then, they liked Christmas stuff. So there was always holiday-themed episodes for all your favorite shows, like Seinfeld, Friends, all that stuff. It was normal. Frasier. So I have like a list of episodes on a portable hard drive of like all my favorite like Christmas shows and things like that. And with anime, they make it really easy. In the holidays, like around Christmas time on Crunchyroll, they have an entire section on Crunchyroll that says holiday favorites, and it has like 50 select episodes spanning 20 years of anime, all Christmas-themed episodes. Every single one of them. So I watched those too, but I can't tell you the names of them because I don't know. I just know they're anime. And I'm probably missing some holiday favorites, but I don't remember. I don't think Toy Story is a Christmas movie, but maybe it is. Wow, Bowser is trying to stay alive, huh? Okay. Yoink. Ooh. Dun, 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 dun. Nope. Uh-oh. I love how Petey Piranha, he laughs. And when he scores against somebody, he laughs at them. That's so mean. I like it. It's funny. Yoink. Bye-bye. Ow. Oh! That's kind of funny that somebody would bring up Christmas stuff because Petey Piranha is wearing red and green. He's very Christmassy. Christmas colors. Because there aren't that many Christmas video games, if you think about it. There are some Christmas games that take place at Christmas. Oh, I left out Batman Returns. I watch Batman Returns and Die Hard at Christmas time. Or in December. Because both of those movies take place at Christmas. No. I can't think of any other major Christmassy ones I watch. But we never miss a year watching both Jingle All the Way, Just Friends, Batman Returns, Christmas with the Joker, He-Man Christmas Special. Oh, Charlie Brown Christmas. We watched that too. Amber loves Charlie Brown. She loves Peanuts. I can't think of that many Thanksgiving specials. I really can't. I don't think there really are. There was Halloween specials, and there was a plethora of Christmas. There was an overabundance of Christmas specials. Like, if you were a kid in the 90s, it was a magical time because, like, every show that you watched from Thanksgiving all the way till Christmas, they would have a Christmas-themed episode during the month of December. Every single show you watched on every channel would be airing their Christmas episode or holiday episode or wintry episode or whatever to reflect the time of year. So it's like they might make the episodes in a certain order and be like, this is episode whatever. But like a lot of shows in the 90s and 80s, once it was wintertime, on TV you would see that the characters are in winter. Or the characters are having Christmas when you're having Christmas, or the month that it's Christmas. They don't do that anymore on TV, really. Every once in a while, they have, like, Christmas-themed episodes on TV, but, like, they didn't go out of their way to make sure, okay, this time of year is usually when there's snow, so there's going to be snow on TV now. They did that. They did that with cartoons, movies, all kinds of stuff. Yoink. You just don't remember it because you were a kid, but as an adult, if you go back and pay attention to stuff, and remember when... You can even go to Wikipedia and see when the episode aired. And it's like, oh wait, they aired this in January when there was snow and stuff? Batman the Animated Series did that. Like, episode... one of the episodes where Batman is dealing with the mob or something like that, and it's two brothers, and it takes place in the winter. Like, it aired in January of, like, 1994 or something like that. And it had, like, a snow theme. So sometimes they did that stuff on purpose. The X-Men Christmas special with the Morlocks was a really good episode, too. That was a primetime episode, too. Sometimes cartoons did so well in the 90s that they got their own primetime slot as a special. That way the kids who were still up could watch with their parents, like, you know, a show they really liked. It's pretty genius marketing. Even Power Rangers had a Christmas episode, but it was really stupid. Because it was after the main cast left the show, so it just wasn't very good. It was really cringe. Boink. Oh. Wait, is this the final? Are we in the finals now? I can't tell if we're in the finals or not. I forgot to do the time code then if we're in the finals. Wow. I think we are in the star finale. Will tell me? World Cup. Oh, wow, yeah. Look at that. Huh. I spaced out. Was He-Man my favorite childhood cartoon? No. I watched... You know how I play a variety of video games? I love variety. So, as a kid, I watched He-Man, Super Friends, Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, Silverhawks, Galaxy Rangers, what was the name of that show? Mask, GoBots. I loved cartoons in general. I even watched Gem a lot. I was the only one in my family that watched Gem. I thought Gem was truly, truly outrageous. I was a boy and I watched Gem. It was a good show. It had great storytelling and it was, you know, it was really interesting. I enjoyed Voltron, Robotech, a lot of stuff. I probably watched more of a variety of cartoons in the 80s than I did in the 90s, though, because the 90s, I kind of mainly watched Fox Kids. But in the 80s, I watched ABC, CBS, NBC, and WB, I believe. WPIX also had, like, cartoons. The late 80s was all about, like, the video game cartoons. So, Super Mario Brothers Super Show, Legend of Zelda, Captain N, Pac-Man, Dungeons and Dragons had a cartoon show. I believe Brave Star was also in the late 80s. Cops. I loved Cops. Fighting crime in a future time. So, you know, I remember all that stuff. And I have a lot of those on DVD, so, like, Amber missed out on watching those cartoons, so it was like, I was really excited to show her all my favorite cartoons growing up. In the 90s, like, I don't really remember a lot of cartoons before Fox Kids, because I was living in the ghetto, and, like, we didn't have cable, so every once in a while I'd get to see Peter Pan and the Pirates, Tiny Toons, Pirates of Dark Water, and Johnny Quest and Scooby-Doo. Like, there wasn't... we didn't live in a very good place in Michigan. We were in the Detroit area, and it was nasty. It was my dad's first church. So, for the most part, when my grandma would send us a care package that had VHS recorded tapes, most of the VHS recorded stuff I was watching was 80s cartoons. Because my grandma was sending me stuff from, that was on TV, on USA Cartoon Express or TBS. So she wasn't even really watching network television, she was watching cable and sending me those cartoon shows. So I kind of missed out on the stuff that was like from 1990 through like 1991. I missed out on all those cartoons. When I moved to upstate New York in 1992, it was right around the time that Batman the Animated Series came out. And so I was right there, front row for that style of cartoons, and it changed my life. Like, Batman the Animated Series changed my life. Also, I can't forget Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles was 1987. I was a big Turtles fan. But I really enjoyed the Super Mario Brothers Super Show a lot as a kid. 1989 was the year the Game Boy came out, and then the year I broke my arms. So, like, I spent a lot of time at home watching TV. Because I couldn't do anything. I looked like a pharaoh, because my arms were broken, both of them. And they had put my arms against my chest. So I looked like... my arms were crossed, so I looked like Pharaoh. And all I could do was watch VHS tapes. I couldn't enjoy my summer at all. I broke my arms in May of 1989. And I didn't have my cast off until... one of my casts off until September of 1989. So all summer... and we didn't have air conditioning back then either. So... I remember drinking a lot of ice water and watching my grandma's VHS tapes. I couldn't play my NES or anything, really. So it was very interesting. My last cast came off, like, I believe I want to say around, because I was in school when I had them off. Whoop. Blah, 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 blah. And I didn't get therapy for my arms until, like, later in the 90s. So it was really messed up. Like, Michigan didn't give me the therapy for my arms. New York did. New York was like, his arms aren't developed very well. We're gonna take care of that. They gave me a physical therapist in, like, 3rd grade or something like that. 3rd or 4th grade. Because my arms were all messed up. They were girly arms. Because I was in a cast so long. And I messed up my bones. Boink. But let's see. The 90s, like 92 on to 96, I watched Batman the Animated Series. I watched Power Rangers in 93. Tiny Toons was still in the air, I believe, so I watched Tiny Toons. I don't know if X-Men came out in 92 or 93, but I watched X-Men, Spider-Man. UPN had Iron Man, Hulk, Fantastic Four cartoons, Phantom 2040. Later cartoons of the 90s was The Tick, Freakazoid, things like that. By like 1996, I had moved on from traditional American cartoons though, and I was already full-blown into anime. I was watching things like Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Ronin Warriors, Card Captor or Sakura, Escaflowne, that kind of stuff. And then once Toonami became a thing, I was watching Toonami all the time. I was really happy too, because I think in 1996, 1997, I believe is when Toonami came out. And I was rewatching 80s and 90s cartoons that were on Toonami at the time. And I really enjoyed, when I was in junior high, was the cartoon stuff. With Dexter, Powerpuff Girls, Johnny Bravo, that kind of stuff. And then once Toonami went full-blown anime, I didn't really pay attention to anything other than that. I still had a loyalty to some extent to Power Rangers. So I watched, like, Power Rangers Zeo. I skipped Power Rangers Turbo because it looked stupid, and I came back for Power Rangers in Space. Because Power Rangers in Space was supposed to be... They marketed it as the finale of Power Rangers. It's like, you grew up with this, now it's ending. So I wanted to see how Power Rangers was going to end. If they were going to have any classic characters come back for cameos and things like that. I did get addicted in high school for fun watching Big Bad Beetleborgs, and I hate watched the Ninja Turtles. The Next Mutation, I hate watched it. I was like, what did they do to these characters from my childhood? Saban, what did you do? Saban! So. It is well past May 9th. It is May 15th. Rage! Power Rangers in Space was going to be the finale of Power Rangers. It wasn't going to be the end of the Zordon saga. Like, Power Rangers in Space made enough ratings to save the show. That's why you got Lost Galaxy afterwards. Power Rangers in Space was going to be the end game of it all because Saban, the brand, was struggling. Power Rangers in Space, because after Turbo, it was like, all right, we're gonna finish everything with In Space, and In Space brought insane ratings that hadn't been around since Mighty Morphin Season 1 and Zeo. So. Power Rangers in Space was a very important part of the Power Rangers franchise because it saved the franchise. It did. So it ended it in its own way. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Uh-oh. Did I ever watch VR Troopers? No. When VR Troopers came out, I was watching Saved by the Bell still. Like, I was getting older, so, like, American cartoons didn't interest me as much anymore until I discovered Cartoon Network. I liked watching Space Ghost, Cartoon Planet because of Brak and Zorak and Space Ghost were really funny. I was gravitating to more, like, parody cartoons, so I really enjoyed watching Freakazoid when I was in junior high. But the most excited that I got watching cartoons was before going to school, which was anime. There was an anime block in New York. There was an anime block in Chicago from 6 in the morning until 5 in the morning until 7. And they played Sailor Moon, Ronin Warriors, and 2 episodes of Dragon Ball Z. And then my bus would come at 7, and I'd get on the bus, or whatever, to go to school. So I looked forward to that. Basically, anime is what made me, you know, look forward to the weekdays. And then when I got home, I would watch whatever was on TV, usually Cartoon Network, usually Toonami. I didn't really pay attention to a lot of mainstream stuff. I dabbled with another network for a while. In, like, 1998, I watched, or not 98, 97 every once in a while, because Fox Kids got kind of boring. I would still watch Spider-Man and X-Men every once in a while, but I mostly watched, like, Kids WB, which had, like, Season 4 of Batman the Animated Series, Superman, Animaniacs, Pinky and the Brain, that kind of stuff. But I was definitely becoming an anime person by the mid-90s. I was even, like, using my lawnmower money to buy VHS tapes of things like Gundam, or not Gundam, Record of Lodoss War, and City Hunter, and things like that. In fact, the very first DVD I ever bought in 2002 was Gundam. Like, I think, I'm trying to remember, whatever year Gundam Wing Endless Waltz came out, that was the first DVD I ever bought. So, I don't know what year that was. Let me check. Okay, so it looks like in February of 2001, I bought my first DVD, I think, which would be Gundam Wing Endless Waltz OVA. So it'd be February of 2001. That was the first ever DVD I bought. Is Endless Waltz a Christmas movie? You might not be able to see the Christmas illumination from space, but no. Santa was out for delivery. Gunless starts on a snowy Christmas Eve and takes place over the course of the entire evening. Oh! Oh, wow, I didn't know that. There you go, guys. Gundam Wing Endless Waltz takes place on Christmas Eve. Wow. I didn't know that. I knew there was something about that movie I liked. There you go. Gundam Wing Endless Waltz is a Christmas movie, kind of. Interesting. Alright, Paratrooper. Let's go. Last character. The last character. I grew up with Superbook, yes. Yep. Superbook was an 80s anime. And I also watched the Hanna-Barbera version of basically... There was a lot of... Let's travel back in time to the Bible, because basically Back to the Future created a lot of time travel stuff in the late 80s. Hanna-Barbera especially made a time travel show about, like, they basically look like Captain Planet characters, but they're not. It's actually a similar art style to Captain Planet. I think it was called The Greatest Stories Ever Told. I don't remember. But Superbook was the one from... Superbook was a Japanese religious show, and then the Hanna-Barbera one was an American one, where the kids are archaeologists. And it has way better animation. It also has really famous voice actors in the Hanna-Barbera one. people that were on G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, voiced characters in the Hanna-Barbera time-traveling Christian show. They played key biblical figures. I just can't remember the name. I think it was called The Greatest Stories Ever Told. I don't remember. Or The Greatest Adventure. I don't remember. You have to remember, before Batman the Animated Series came out, the 90s had a lot of really unique cartoons that the 90s hadn't found its identity for cartoons yet. It was still from like 1990 through 1992, before Batman the Animated Series changed everything. We had a lot of really out there cartoons that were fun, but they kind of kept that same vibe of the 80s. So you had Pro Stars starring Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky, and they were sports stars in real life that were secret agents or whatever. That was a fun show, I guess. It was okay. You had a lot of licensed shows based on movies. So, they were trying to capitalize on the real Ghostbusters from the 80s, which I forgot to mention, but I did like the real Ghostbusters. My mom didn't like me watching the real Ghostbusters because it was about ghosts and demons and stuff, so she wasn't cool with that. So I didn't get to enjoy the real Ghostbusters very much until my wife, later on in my life, bought me the Firehouse DVD set for my birthday. I don't remember which birthday it was. And it's up there somewhere. It's the complete real Ghostbusters cartoon thing inside the Firehouse DVD thing. So she got that for me. And I was able to watch through the entire show, which I'd never been able to do, because I only got to watch episodes every once in a while when my mom wasn't home, because she did not like it. So I kind of forget that also came out in like 1987, I believe, right around the same time as Ninja Turtles. But she wasn't okay with it. Let's see, what other weird shows were in the 90s? You had Back to the Future cartoons, you had Aladdin cartoons. Disney afternoon stuff was big. Like I said, there was so much variety that, like, we were spoiled in the 90s. Like, every network had a reason for you to watch them. Every network had, like, big stars that you had to watch. The Disney afternoon had Tailspin. It had Darkwing Duck, DuckTales, the Aladdin cartoon, the Hercules cartoon, all kinds of stuff. It was good stuff. Goof Troop. Bump, 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 bump. Like, 90s kids were spoiled on entertainment. Like, we had everything. And it's like networks were basically competing. Like, you couldn't watch all the cartoons that released in the 90s. You had to pick and choose what you were going to watch and talk about with your friends. And then when something was in reruns, because you had, like, the Disney afternoon ran the same time as Batman the Animated Series. So it wasn't until Batman the Animated Series was in reruns that I was watching, like, the Disney afternoon. You know, when Power Rangers and Batman were on reruns, then I would watch other networks. Because, like, Darkwing Duck was on the same time as Batman the Animated Series or something like that, you know? So I couldn't watch it at the same time. You had to pick and choose. That's why it was good, like, when you were like, oh, this is a rerun, then I'm gonna go over to this network. 90s was a magical time. Especially to be a kid. It really was. Ah! No. Whereas in the 80s, the 80s was different because, like, most of the shows all aired on the same network. Like, if you were going to go on CBS, CBS was known as the superhero network, I believe. They had Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, Superpowers Team, Justice League, Ruby Spears Superman cartoon, like, superhero stuff. That's what CBS did. And then either ABC or Fox had things like Thundercats, He-Man. I don't remember. But you didn't really have to pick and choose because, like, you know, He-Man was only on every Saturday, I think. And then the afternoons was like Inspector Gadget and all this other stuff. So it's like, it was very easy to stay up to date with shows in the 80s. And the shows that weren't as good as like Transformers or Ghostbusters or Ninja Turtles, you didn't really spend a lot of time watching them until your favorite shows were in reruns. But again, it wasn't until I was an adult that I was able to watch all the cartoons that happened when I was growing up, and I was actually able to watch them from start to finish. Because you would, you know, there's lots of things you would do as a kid. I played with action figures when I was a kid. I played video games, so I wasn't planted in front of the TV all the time. So I didn't get to watch like He-Man all, like, what was it, like 200 or 300 episodes or something, like from start to finish. It's like you would catch it, you watch it when you could, type thing. And then as an adult, it's like when those shows came on DVD, it's like, yeah, totally, I'm gonna binge this whole thing, and I did. I binged all of G.I. Joe, Transformers, Cops, everything. It was a lot of fun, too. Besides, like, actual cartoons, with my dad, I would watch A-Team, Magnum P.I. in the evenings, MacGyver, Star Trek: The Next Generation, I think. I don't know if Murder, She Wrote was a thing. Police Squad with Leslie Nielsen was funny, which gave birth to the Naked Gun movies. Facts of Life. Let's see. What else did we watch? My dad was obsessed with Cheers. I think Murder, She Wrote was in the 80s and 90s. The only show I remember us really watching as a family a lot was TGIF, which was known as Thank God It's Fridays. And that was an ABC thing, so that was... ABC was always owned by Disney. A lot of people didn't know that, though. ABC was owned by Disney since the 80s. TGIF had Family Matters, which was the Steve Urkel show. I believe it had Full House. Tool Time. I mean, was it Tool Time? Home Improvement. Sorry. Home Improvement. On Saturdays was The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Saved by the Bell. I was really starting to get into, like, live action shows. A little bit. My favorite episodes of Family Members are one where Urkel turned into Bruce Lee, though. Those were funny. Especially because it had Power Ranger actors in those episodes playing the stunt guys. So, you probably didn't know this, but Walter Jones and Jason David Frank and Johnny Young Bosch appeared in the Urkel show. And Jaleel White beat him up. Actually, Jaleel White is a pretty good martial artist. Like, you probably wouldn't think he is because he's Urkel. Did I do that? But he might... when he transforms into Bruce Lee, he's actually pretty good. It was really funny. He did the voice of Bruce Lee, too. Let's see. Bruce Lee spoke like this. Bruce Lee spoke very slowly, enunciating everything. Kind of had like a lisp when he spoke a little bit. You must become like water, my friends. If you are water, you become the cup. You are the cup. You know, stuff like that. So, Jill White actually did a really great Bruce Lee impression. He only turned into Bruce Lee in 3 episodes over the course of the show, though, but it was really funny. I actually had never seen the finale of Family Matters, I don't think. Like, I stopped watching the show after a while because there was a... I think Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman with Dean Cain, started during the final season of Family Matters. So my family was, like, watching the Lois and Clark show, which was really good, by the way. Like, the Flash show that came out several years before wasn't that great. It was okay, but my mom didn't like us watching it because she thought it was too violent. And this is before Power Rangers. This is 1990. So when Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman came out, it was a family show. Like, everybody in the house could watch it. And it was a primetime show, I think at like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. It was pretty cool because, like, everybody in my family liked it. And I wasn't a big Superman person. The only reason I watched it is because I thought, like, Batman was going to show up. And Dean Cain purposely made a couple references to Batman in the show because Dean Cain is a Batman fan. I've interacted with Dean Cain a couple times on Twitter over the course of my career. Back when the Arkham games came out, Dean called me Bruce a lot. Because, you know, I'd have very Batman takes to his stuff that he would say on Twitter. So he would call me Bruce. Because, you know, I was the Arkham guy, so it's kind of funny. Never actually met Dean Cain in real life, but I liked his Superman. His Superman was fun. My wife really likes the Lois and Clark show. Let's see. There was a lot of detective stuff in the 90s. Murder, She Wrote was a really good show. There was a show with Dick Van Dyke as like a detective or some type of like murder writer or something like that. I don't remember the name of it, but that was a lot of fun to watch. And then we had a lot of weird shows in the 90s, like shows based on the X-Men, but they weren't X-Men. I can't even remember the name of it, but I watched it. It was a little weird. Get him! Nicely done, dude. Good job, Paratrooper. Diagnosis murder! Yes! There it is. He was a doctor, wasn't he? Yeah. It came out around the same... Jotaro, you're like... You watched the same stuff I did as a kid. That's so cool. Yeah, the Dick Van Dyke Murder Show. I'd love to get that on DVD. That was a great show. I never watched Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, though. Oh, I just remembered some really weird 90s cartoons that came out before Batman the Animated Series. When people were, like, scrambling to try to, like, have cool shows for kids to watch. You had Street Sharks, Conan the Barbarian, the cartoon based on the R-rated movies, which was really weird. Double Dragon, based on the video game of the same name, was really weird. It was a cartoon. And then later on, after Batman the Animated Series, you had more video game shows, which were terrible. And I mean terrible, they were really bad. Street Fighter the Animated Series, Mortal Kombat the Animated Series, oof, so bad. Mummies Alive was weird. Biker Mice from Mars was weird. Eek the Cat was weird. I think there was even a Toxic Crusader show. I don't remember. I was not watching anime. I stopped watching Fox Kids in 2000 and... let's see, what... May 15th. I was really not watching Fox Kids after probably 2000. Like, I was mostly watching Cartoon Network at that point. I also, on Saturday mornings, a lot of my cartoon shows got replaced with, like, I was a big fan of Hercules, The Legendary Journeys. That was on Saturdays. That was I think that show aired at, like, 1 o'clock or noon or something. Or maybe even it was 11 a.m. on Saturdays. I don't remember. Like, they started, before cartoon blocks lasted from 7 in the morning until, like, 11, or sometimes noon, on CBS, Fox, and whatever. And then by, like, 1995, 1996, like, most cartoon blocks began at 8 in the morning, and they ran until, like, 10:30, and then they started to get shorter and shorter. Like, or wait, no, it ran to 11, and then it ran to 10:30. And then eventually, I think it was, like, syndicated cartoons on, like, Fox and all these other places. By, like, 2003, they stopped. Like, Fox tried to rebrand and call themselves the Fox Box right around 2002. And I came back and I watched Fox on Saturday mornings before I went to work because of the brand new Ninja Turtles cartoon show. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 2003. So it was right, my work started, the game store opened up at like 10-ish. So I could watch Ninja Turtles before, it was right before I had to go into work at EB Games or whatever. So, like, I would get to watch the new Turtle show, and then I'd go into work. But I wasn't really watching Fox that much anymore. I was mostly watching anime. So I knew that Fox, like, started to add more anime, or at least they tried to. I believe that's where I first saw Escaflowne was on Fox. But, like, I preferred Toonami because it was... The censorship on network television for anime was really bad. The censorship on Cartoon Network for anime wasn't that bad. It was more true to what the original broadcast was. Shoot. Guys, we have to push the shorts. We're in big trouble. We're in big trouble. Big trouble, big trouble. We're at 10:30. So we're dropping like crazy. The Metroid short did get 1,000 views, which is great, but if this keeps up, I'm gonna have to go take a break and advertise the channel, because like we're in very bad shape. So mods in the chat, if you haven't already, we gotta push the shorts. We gotta get the shorts views up, because this is bad. Like, we'll be below, like, 800 views by, like, 940. So we gotta watch the shorts, ladies and gentlemen.
Paratroopa, to serve.
As a teenager, I watched a lot of Smallville, like, teenage and college year. But even though Smallville was interesting, and Birds of Prey was okay, I was more excited to tune into Justice League. Justice League on Cartoon Network became, like, my favorite show in the early 2000s. Like, I did my best to never miss an episode. Like, it was that good. It was, like, the best thing on TV. Like, both live action and animated back then. Like, it was like Cartoon Network's biggest show. Like, I just could, like, I was so excited to watch that, like, all the time. Even as an adult, I couldn't stop watching it. Ah! Super shy guy. No! Yeah, guys, I gotta go on forced break. I gotta advertise. The stream will resume when we're around, like, 1,300 views an hour. We're at 930, so I gotta scoot. It's gonna take me probably, like, 15-20 minutes to advertise the shorts and get the views up. But I can't continue like this. This stream is gonna continue to drown this, thing. We're way below. So I'll be back. Sorry about that. Alright guys, we're at about 1,200, so let's do this thing. There's still a possibility that I might have to drop this stream entirely and get the next one started. But at least I know what I'm streaming tonight. Thank you guys for watching the shorts, really appreciate you. If you guys could keep watching the shorts, we can clear the hour at like 1,300. We're almost at 12 right now. So appreciate you guys coming together as a community and helping out. I like that. I have no idea why it dropped all the way down to 800 like that. That was freaking terrifying because it's like I was actually doing stuff as a... I thought I was making a pretty entertaining stream and it dropped all the way down to 800 views. That's why I told people, like, live streaming for longer than 2 hours really impacts a YouTube channel. It does. It 100% does. That's why watching shorts creates organic views into the channel. And I saw Carlos was here. Carlos, you had a question. Did I ever watch Superhuman Samurai? I saw Superhuman Samurai and VR Troopers in the 90s, but I was a big Power Rangers person, so I saw everything... I saw everything that was similar to Power Rangers as a cheap copy. And I had no idea it all came from Japan, so... Yeah. I knew of it, but I wasn't a fan of it, because I was like, yeah, this is not Power Rangers. This is people copying Power Rangers. They're trying to be cool like Power Rangers. Because remember, a lot of people didn't know that the shows came from Japan. They had no idea, right? So, yeah. The world was so, like, not connected back then in the 90s that most people didn't know what Super Sentai was. Thank you for the super chat. So, most of us Americans were kind of deluded in thinking that Power Rangers was, you know, an American-made property. It wasn't until the late 90s that everyone discovered Super Sentai. But in the early 90s, nobody had any idea. So Superhero Samurai, VR Troopers, what was the name of that one thing? Ultraman, all that stuff. Like, we had no idea. Well, I mean, of course they're going to call The Passion of the Christ 2 The Resurrection, because that's what the movie's about. That makes sense. Oh, they have an account on Twitter? Interesting. Yeah. Somebody was asking about another show before. Was there another show that I watched? Where was that one? Was right around the time Carlos asked me a question. Because it was gone. Do shorts help the channel? YouTube shorts stabilize views on the channel. And basically it tells YouTube, hey, this channel's worth a darn. You know, people are watching other than just the stream. That's pretty much what shorts do. They keep the views from plummeting, because if your views plummet, it impacts you. But YouTube Shorts don't pay. Even if you get 1,000 views quickly, you only make like a penny. You don't even make 25 cents. If you get like, I forget what it is. If you get like 5,000 views, you make $1. Yep. Okay. I mean, I love fish, but I have had fish a lot this week. So I need... Yup. Yeah. That's cool. I like your lo mein. Ha 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 ha. Do I watch Invincible? I've seen a couple episodes of different seasons from Invincible. It's too gory for me. Like, I like the characters, I like the voice acting, I think the animation is amazing, but I don't... I can appreciate things like Invincible and Berserk and not watch them a lot because they're too intense. I have nothing against the show personally, but it's not for me. Like, I don't have a cast iron stomach. I watch those shows, I get nauseous. If you've seen Berserk, you know what I'm talking about. What did you do to Zelda now? Zelda, what did you drop on her? Ah! No. It's the 15th of May, Amber. Yatta. Yeah, no offense, Johnny. I just don't, I can't do Berserk, I can't do Invincible. I've seen, some things of Invincible, and I think it's a great thing, but I feel like it's more intense than the comic book ever was. Like, I've actually read more of the Invincible stuff than I have watched it, like, in live action or whatever. Alright, we're going to Star. Mamma mia. Happy birthday, Apex! I hope you have a wonderful birthday. Link, don't tear up my couches. Linky, what are you doing? Alright guys, let's finish off Mario Tennis. This is it. Let's do it.
Set Paratroopa to serve.
Let's do it, guys. Bam. Yep.
15 love.
Alrighty, here we go. Oh, he's being tricky. Alright. You were gonna make some noodle salad? You don't like gore, but you play Mortal Kombat? I mean, if you play Mortal Kombat, you don't have a problem with gore. I can't play Mortal Kombat, like the newer Mortal Kombat games. I can't handle it. It's too much. Like the 90s Mortal Kombat games, Mortal Kombat 4, stuff like that. I can handle those types of fatalities, but the more intense ones where they're... After Mortal Kombat 9, I have a hard time with the fatalities. Nah, the last Mortal Kombat got way too intense. Yeah. I prefer cartoon violence. I don't like realistic violence. Different strokes for different folks. But I'll tell you what makes me different than an activist, though. I'm not going to create, like, use my platform to shame people that play Mortal Kombat or anything like that. Like, I believe that Mortal Kombat deserves to exist in the gaming space, you know? If it's got an audience, go for it. The only thing I wish Mortal Kombat would stop doing is censoring their female characters. Because it's gotten to the point of ridiculousness. Like, Mortal Kombat 2, all the women are going to wear burqas. Yet they still let the men walk around shirtless, but the women have to be all covered up. I was watching this change from, like, Katana's first appearance for Mortal Kombat 2, and then Katana's recent appearance in Mortal Kombat 1, like the remake, and she is so covered up compared to her original. Her original outfit was boots, a one-piece bathing suit, long opera gloves, and a mask. And then in Mortal Kombat 3, they gave her, like, more sexy-looking clothes, and then I think she wore a bikini in one of the games, and now it's, like, gone full past the original Mortal Kombat 2 first appearance, and they've censored her, like, the only skin you can see on her is her belly button, I believe. Like, her forearms, her arms, everything is covered up. It looks really weird. It's like... If... there was a... what do they call it? There was a comic book where they were making fun of censorship years ago. This would be like 2010 or something. It was before memes. But you had this mom that was a cosplayer or whatever, and her teenage daughter was trying to leave the house, and she was dressing as, like, a certain character or whatever. And then the mom kept changing how the character looked. Like, they kept, like, removing more and more visible skin from the teenage girl, to the point the girl basically walked outside of the house, like, wearing a trash bag with her head sticking out of it. Because that's how the mom deemed it appropriate for her to leave the house afterwards. That's basically what these activists do. They keep censoring these female characters until the only thing that they'll allow is for them to dress like men. The funny thing is, like, if it's not an M-rated game, I think that it's okay to do some types of censorship. But if your market audience is basically, like, teenage boys and college kids and people that are totally, you know, into that type of, like, raunchy costumes, they should be allowed to have those costumes in their game. But if it's, like, a general audience T-rated thing, I think, yeah, you could maybe, like, tone it down a little bit. But, yeah, it's gotten to the point of ridiculousness. And this coming from somebody who doesn't even play Mortal Kombat a lot. It's just an observation that I've seen. Because I would argue that Katana's costume for Mortal Kombat 2 from like 1993 is fine for today's standards, but they deem that way more inappropriate than what her costume in Mortal Kombat 3 and 4 was. Or Annihilation. It's just crazy. Yoink. Like, right now, Peach is wearing, like, a cute little tennis dress. Like, the censors would have a problem with Peach's outfit, and they would make her wear, like, longer pants or whatever. They'd make her dress, like, similar to Mario. She'd have, like, super long, like, shorts or something. She looks really cute in her, you know, princess-themed tennis dress. But this game, again, was, like, 21 years ago, so... It really feels like that they use censorship as a, you know, a thing that they're saying they're for females, but at the same time they're removing females' right to dress how they want. Like it almost feels like it's paving the way to some type of religion that's taking over the world. And most of the females have to wear men's clothes now. Well, whereas before in the 90s, I remember when parent groups were telling Mortal Kombat they needed to change Katana's outfit. You want to know what Mortal Kombat's response was when they released their third game? They gave Katana less clothes. They were taken to the U.S. It was either the Supreme Court or U.S. Congress, like Mortal Kombat Midway. And they were told by these groups that they needed to change the costumes of these female characters. And Midway did change them. They just made them worse by the time Mortal Kombat 3 came out. Yeah, that's why it's weird to me. Like, they stood up to censorship in the 90s, but then 30 years later, you know, these... it's not even conservatives doing this. This is like activist people. They make demands and they do all this other stuff, and then these companies are like, oh, yes, of course, we'll do that. But it's like before they were like, you want us to change the character designs? Okay. Here you go. Is this what you wanted? Is this acceptable? Yoink. I think actually Mario Tennis Aces made Peach like dress very conservative. I believe she's wearing like a much longer dress or something in the last Mario Tennis game that came out in like 2020. At least I think it was 2020. I think Mario Kart Aces was like it was during the pandemic. I know that. Wow, Amber. Hi, Sweepy. I will have some tea in a little bit. Great. Nya.
I wouldn't go in the kitchen right now.
I'm terrified that you said that. Remember, you can throw stuff out in the trash. There's a trash bag right on the floor.
Oh. Fascinating.
If you don't do it, I will. 40, 30. 40, 30. Robot boys. 40, 30. Yeah. Ah!
Thank you, Alpha, again for the super chats. Resurrection of Christ Film has an account on X now. Woohoo! Awesome, Alpha. Thank you so much for your help. I'm glad you liked that movie a lot, Alpha. It was really great. I didn't get a chance to see it. I heard Mark Hamill was in that movie. Mark Hamill played in the Resurrection of Christ movie. That's what I heard.
He's in Mel Gibson's movie?
No, it's a cartoon. It's an animated
Oh.
movie that came around in Easter.
Oh.
He played Herod. King Herod, Luke. I'm pretty sure that Mark Hamill played King Herod.
Interesting.
No, the bad guy?
Ah!
Well, I mean, Mark Hamill has played bad guys for a long time.
Mark Hamill's turned into a bad guy.
He only plays bad guys now. He played the Joker, and then he played on the CW. He played I can't remember the partner's name. And he's played other like thugs and stuff and bad guys.
Oh!
How are you doing today, Luke and Amber? Says Daphne.
Okay, Daphne.
Are you having a headache?
No.
No.
Just back pain.
I'm sorry you're having back pain.
Okay.
I added you in my group. So I feel bad you were shadow banned. Just my thing, says Captain Zach.
Okay,
Thank you, Captain Zach. That's very kind of you. The movie was great, but the sequel to The Passion on High Force is out. Yeah, I think Mel Gibson is. I did see The Passion of the Christ and it was really good.
That was like, what, 2004? A long time ago.
Yeah, I saw it. My dad was in the theater with me when I saw it. I remember that. I thought Luke was in the theater too. Were you with my parents?
I was not. Yeah, I might have been there with you. We were dating, so it's highly likely I was there.
The only reason I remember my dad being there is my dad was translating. My dad speaks Aramaic.
Yeah.
My dad was translating the Aramaic on that. He could translate it in real time. Very impressive.
Yeah, it is.
Because I didn't realize that, but a lot of people back then actually would have spoken Aramaic, not Hebrew.
Of course.
But I didn't understand why. Like that was the language that was spoken in that area, I guess.
There you go.
But I didn't realize this, but like the Romans in that area would have spoken tons of languages.
The Romans...
Like they knew every language because Rome went everywhere.
Rome spoke a type of Greek, I thought. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they spoke like Latin.
I thought they, like, because that was near Greece.
No, they would have spoken Greek also. Like, they would have known multiple languages.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying the ones that would have been in Jerusalem would probably speak Greek. Because Greek was, like, the biggest language.
It's possible. I don't know. I have to look it up.
But yeah, they would speak Latin. It's just... The movie, or not the movie, the setting of that...
Or you mean the people in that area?
The people in that area mostly would, like... You know how English is, like, the lay of the land? Like,
yes.
Yeah, Greek would have been, like, the main language.
In the Roman Empire?
Not in the Roman Empire, but in Jerusalem.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. If you know, then I guess you know. We are gonna see... Oh. Do you think the film tariffs will affect the production of the Resurrection?
Probably.
I mean, they're gonna affect everything, Alpha. But, I mean, I don't think Mel Gibson will care, because he doesn't really care about money.
Nope.
He doesn't really... I mean, like Luke even said that he was on an interview where his house was burned down, and he
lost everything.
He said, I guess God, like, took away some of my stuff.
No, he said all his stuff. He says, I've been wondering for years what I was going to do with all my stuff. He says, God gave me the answer. My stuff is all gone. He says, some of his irreplaceable movie props from all the movies I've ever been in. It's all gone.
Yeah, well, all the other celebrities are crying. He was just like, well, I guess God didn't want me to have that.
Yeah.
I don't think it will bother Mel Gibson if the tariffs are high, because he's not really in it for the money anyway.
He's in it about spreading the message.
He wants to make the movie, so it doesn't matter to him.
In fact, he only said years ago when he did the interview for Passion of the Christ, he said he would only make the resurrection movie if he thought the world was so evil and vile that there would be a reason for that movie to exist. Like, he would, if the world got so wicked, then he would make it. So if he's making it now, then he thinks the world is super evil.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see Jesus descend into hell in that movie. Oh wow.
I'm gonna see all kinds of stuff.
It sounds like it's gonna be...
I don't know if I can see it, because I don't... It's pretty intense. Mel Gibson is quite the visionary. Here we go.
Yeah, he's, I thought he was Catholic, but,
He's Protestant. Mel
oh
is...
wow, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mel Gibson almost came to our church to talk when he was promoting his movie, but he ended up going to that one bigger church in the town we lived in. Because churches were doing all those mega showings of that movie when it came out. So we didn't technically have a church when Mel was doing his like tour.
Well, you know what? I'll look it up what people were spoken. I don't know. You know, it doesn't really matter.
First set, Paratroopa. To serve.
Drink. Oh no! I learned that like 20 years ago, so it might not be, the same information.
I don't know if to read it out loud.
That was
I'll talk to you about it later.
That was a Wolby thing.
Oh, you were right! They did speak both Latin and Greek. Look at that.
It was the main type of...
It says use Greek for wider communication. So you're right there. I guess you're right. I didn't believe you.
Because most of the world... Because remember, Rome easily conquered Greece, because Greece was, like, not in the best shape. But Greek had already, like, circulated through the world.
Yeah,
so it was, like, the main language.
Yeah, like, I was actually watching a documentary about that when Rome took over Greece. They basically copied them. It was like Greece, too.
Kind of.
Because they kind of took their culture and then called it their own.
Kind of, although the Romans were different.
Yeah, they were
The
different,
Romans were more
but...
barbaric than the Greeks.
Yeah, they were more ruthless.
Yeah.
That's why I always say, like, if I could pick, like, a time to be alive, it probably would have been the Greek Empire or the Persian Empire, because, you know, Roman Empire was pretty crazy.
Yep.
They were more ruthless.
No! Yeah.
I feel like it's pretty wicked and evil. You have to be careful every time you go out. It's like the Wild West is alpha nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, I have to be careful when I go out, like, DoorDash.
Yep.
I don't even go out late at night because it's...
Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know that if they're doing the Resurrection movie, Mel Gibson is not going to pull punches. He's going to go after every type of sin. So it's buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Everyone will be offended because they're supposed to be convicted.
Well, apparently Mel Gibson, I mean, they're bringing out these old videos of Mel Gibson when he was like 20-something in Hollywood, where he was saying that Hollywood, he was talking about all these horrible things that Hollywood executives were doing back then, and nobody believed him. He was talking about stuff they were doing to kids and to women, and that they were doing all these horrible things in Hollywood and just evil things. And
just know that Mel Gibson wasn't in his 20s in the 80s, though. He was 30s.
Oh.
Mid-30s.
Well, when he was young then.
Yep.
But people were saying, like, wow, I can't believe he was talking about all this stuff back then. And people thought he was crazy, like he was making it up. But now all this stuff has come out of the woodwork, and everything he said years ago was right. And, like, he was right on about it. He knew what he was talking about.
I didn't mind Mel Gibson in the 80s and 90s. I just didn't like a lot of his movies. His Lethal Weapons movies were very intense.
They didn't really have the... Like, I didn't really watch that many of his... I haven't even watched The Patriot or anything.
Patriot is really brutal.
I never watched that, but I love, you know, I love William Wallace and stuff, so I watched the Braveheart.
Braveheart movie's very violent.
But some of the Braveheart was very inaccurate.
Yeah.
Such as, like, they tried to make Scottish people like they were barbarians, but that wasn't actually accurate at all. Like, William Wallace was a landowner, and he was a lord, and his wife was a lady.
So
they had servants, and they had a castle, and they tried to have William Wallace marry Marion in the woods with no witnesses, which is completely inaccurate.
Pause.
I'm
So
just saying.
what happened with that movie was, and some of the other like foreign things that he did, they weren't very accurate, and they were more like, you know, because the world was not as connected.
They
so when
did not understand Scottish history at all.
When they did the Revolutionary War movie, Mel Gibson had all of the materials in the United States to borrow from, like, for that set time period. When he went over to, you know, Scotland and all those other places to film and things like that, he didn't have a lot of time to research everything in depthly, and they didn't have it's very different today because you have a mass wealth of knowledge at your fingertips to, you know, put out a good product and stuff like that. Back when the world was so closed off, and it was, the internet was still in its infancy, so there was really no way to do the kind of stuff that you would do with graphic, like, biopics nowadays. Like, it's very easy nowadays to make a pretty authentic, like, you know, old-timey movie based on a certain period of time, because you can make it almost as authentic as possible because you have more resources and more knowledge at your disposal. Whereas back then in the 90s, I mean, there were a lot of mistakes with so many, like, Irish and Scottish films and stuff like that, that a lot of, like, Scottish and Irish people call out all the time because, you know, it's their culture, so they had access to all this.
They were trying to make it like the English people had castles and were normal, like, sitting on chairs and living in houses, and it was like the Scottish people were barbarians. It's like, not exactly accurate. There were Scottish lords and ladies as well. They were their own country as well.
Right, but here's another example. The Highlander movies is supposed to be about a dude who was like Braveheart. He was immortal. But at one point they give him a katana, which that wouldn't be his sword that he would have had, like, from the time he became an immortal.
Yeah.
So there was all kinds of weird stuff that happened in those movies where it was like inspired by historical events and characters, but, like, they didn't really stick to that. There were Western guys wielding, like, katanas. There were Asian guys using, like, rapier swords, which were French. There's all kinds of weird stuff.
I will say, like, in the Scottish Highlands, people are more like living, like, back in the past, basically living in more, like, in clans, and you know what I'm saying. But, like, there were, like, where they were fighting on the border between England and Scotland, they would have been in armies and wearing normal clothes and stuff. Like, so, yeah. But that was what mainly the thing that bothered me about that movie, the main thing, was they had Marion and William married in the woods. And that is the most inaccurate part of the entire movie, because that did not happen. They had many witnesses, they had servants. It was not true. They were not married in the woods. But, I mean, they were making a point about what was happening at the time, which was that it was something that was really bad that was happening to women that got married in Scotland. Like, English soldiers would come across the border and have, like, the first night, which is horrible. That was one of the problems. Scottish people were rebelling. Anyways, yeah, you're right. I mean, but, you know, to be fair, it's actually really hard to find Scottish history, since history is written by the victors. And a lot of Scottish history, like I did reports on Scottish history when I was in school, and I could only find history that was written by people that went to the Highlands of Scotland and got the history from, like, basically pubs and stuff like that, and bards, because they don't really teach, they kind of wipe their history out at the border. You know what I mean? Like, their history was kind of wiped out by the English because they lost.
It's not just that. Like, the Hercules Legendaries Journey show, they did their best to try to incorporate as much of Greek mythology as they could into it, but their access to stuff was very limited, except for that they could find in, like, museums and libraries in the United States and New Zealand and stuff where they filmed. If they made a Hercules show today, it would be very easy for them to actually have a Greek scholar or somebody like really help out their show to make sure it's authentic, because Hollywood, everybody has a vast access to almost unlimited knowledge, which they did not have when things like Brave and Hercules: The Legendary Journeys and all these shows and movies were created. It was the world, it's hard to explain to people, but you guys grew up with the world as, like, you know, this big massive thing where everybody knows each other, and there's even people here who are international who are, you know, communicating with one another. In the 90s and the 80s, the only people that you knew were the people that were around you. Like, there was no pen pals in Hong Kong or Japan or any of that. Like, none of that existed. If you emailed people in your city or your town or whatever. It wasn't like this massive thing where everybody was, like, you know, hanging out. That didn't happen until the early 2000s, at the latest. My first international friend was somebody in Tokyo who I met playing an emulator in, like, the year 2000. And then I met a bunch of South Koreans and Japanese people at my first college.
Yeah.
And that was a culture shock to me, because, like, while I knew some people, like, online, actually meeting them in person and hearing how they talk differently and stuff like that, because even though I grew up in a very diverse neighborhood in New York where there were, like, Chinese kids and black kids and Mexican kids, they all spoke, like, perfect English. There was no accent whatsoever that they sounded like.
Except for a New York accent.
Except for a New York accent, yes.
Oh my
They either sounded like they were from the Bronx, from Brooklyn, Manhattan, Long Island, or, you know, local like New York accent, like whatever town you lived in.
Yeah, like Danny has a thick New York accent.
Oh my gosh, yep. Danny from Nintendo Cade, yes he does.
And I thought, he left a message on your phone one time. I thought that was Bobby Flay talking to you.
No. But later on in the 2000s, when the internet started to expand and we had things like YouTube, the world was now not such a big place anymore. It was smaller, because, you know, you could actually see what other people were like and you could interact with them. And, you know, then all these other people, like Japan especially, was kind of like, nah, we didn't like a lot of these shows you did in the 80s and 90s because this isn't authentic. They would actually volunteer to help improve, like, Japanese films, and, you know, Chinese people would volunteer to help kung fu, like, films in the late 90s and early 2000s and stuff like that, because, like, the American romanticized versions of these things was way off compared to what they were in those other countries.
Yeah, it's like we filled in the blanks with what we thought maybe was happening.
Based on the, you know, Asian Americans that actually lived in the country. But those people had never actually... Some of those people who were consultants on films in America that were, like, you know, Chinese or Japanese, they'd never been to the country of their nationality.
Oh, wow.
They were born in America.
It's just like
or
what
Canada.
they remember their grandparents talking about or something.
Basically. But nowadays, I mean, the only people and people make a lot of terrible stuff nowadays, but they just don't research it because they don't want to.
That's the sad thing, is that people have so much information, but they refuse to use it nowadays.
Yep.
But they have access to it, like it's there, but they don't want to use it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's it. Alright, people, so we did it. That's all the characters. Every single person has a star now. Everybody's done. So I feel like we've exhausted everything about this game that we could. We did filler for this game as long as we could. Every single character got a star. just like the old days when I first played this game in 2004. I showed you a bunch of stuff. The only thing I didn't show you was some of the exhibition stuff, like collecting coins and stuff like that.
I didn't mean to be ragging on the
Ragging on what?
The Braveheart movie.
Oh, I don't care.
Thank you for explaining it, Paul.
Well, yeah.
But it's interesting that I researched it on my own as a literal child in school, and I was able to figure out what was wrong about.
But also, compared to when that movie was made and when you were
I probably
in school.
watched it years after it was made, but I'm also obsessed with Scottish history.
He makes very compelling stuff. It's just...
Well, he got many things accurate about it. The way that William Wallace died was accurate. The fact that the Scottish lords did not... basically, they were cowards, and they didn't stand against the English until it was too late. He also got the accurate thing of what the English lords were doing to the Scottish people coming across the border and terrorizing them. So he got a lot of things right. A lot of those things were accurate to what was happening. And of course, I mean, how William Wallace died was... I mean, that is how he died. Like, all the legends say that. But all they asked for him to do was to stop fighting for freedom for the Scottish people, and he would not. He wouldn't. They had to torture him to death. I think he may have actually shouted freedom at the end. I don't know, but it's very possible.
Don't know. So this is the ring minigame, guys. I'm just showing you everything that this game had to offer. Amber and I showed you 2-player. This is another fun little minigame that you can do in the game. So you've seen the special modes. You've seen a bunch of stuff. And this is all about who gets... The first person who gets to 100 like that is the winner. So. It's a quick little minigame, kind of fun. Let's see, what other mini games were there? I don't want to do the painting one again. Do Diddy Kong. Classic Diddy. Oh yeah, that's fine. Intermediate stuff. So that was ring. Let's do item boxes. This is like item boxes like from Mario Kart, basically. Actually, I don't even remember what this one is. I guess we'll find out. Yep, it's Mario Kart. How do I throw the shell? Oh! Oh, okay. That's kind of cool.
I think tonight is a mystery stream, Captain said.
A mystery stream on a brand new game.
Ooh. Well, I don't want to... I mean, I could talk a lot about it, but I don't know. I won't talk about it. Let's see. Move on.
Yeah,
move on to a different topic, man.
This is basically Mario Kart. I don't know if I'll get to the other Mario Tennis game. I don't... Tomorrow is going to be all about the fighting game, which is the SNK versus Capcom.
And that's at what time?
I don't think I'm doing a 10 a.m. stream. We could, I guess we could. I don't know.
No, we don't have to. Tomorrow I'm gonna probably go out in the morning again to try to do some stuff.
It's gonna be a 3 o'clock stream. Because Mario Kart is gonna be Mario Kart Tour, which will be later in the evening. Yeah, because otherwise I'm gonna get tons of nasty stuff. It's okay. Life. I didn't do the Power Rangers game until late at night when the phone call stopped. Because it would disrupt my stream. As well as the numbers, the numbers would display on my screen.
When did you do a Power Rangers?
Legacy Wars is always on my phone.
When did you do it? You did it?
I haven't done it recently. I haven't had enough money in my PayPal.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I have just enough for the SNK game, I'm sure.
I don't know. You have money in your PayPal?
Well, it's connected to my bank account.
How much money is the SNK account?
40 is what the
I
game is.
don't think you have. No.
Oh my gosh, that's terrible, Amber.
Right. That's why I was freaking out, because of your family coming here. Why do you think I was having a mental breakdown? What is the SNK thing? You're gonna have to use our bank account.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go. That's why I wanted to go door dashing today.
Okay. All right, relax. So then I guess I'll have to use my bank account.
I don't think you have enough in our bank account either, because I didn't DoorDash today. I made you tea. We're to the line. We don't have any money. I don't understand.
We'll figure it out. All right. So
how did we figure it out?
Okay. All right. So anyway, guys and gals, that's gonna do it for this stream. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the new game stream that starts up next. So head on over there, and I'll see you guys in just a little bit. Okay. I need to give you guys the link because I don't have it.
Final set. Yoshi to serve.
Alright, here you go. Alright, click that, guys, and I'll see you over there in just a little bit. I'm going to get the next stream started, okay? Thanks for watching, everybody, and thanks for the super chat.